Thanks, Aki. Thanks, Alexi, for the introduction. Hi, everyone. Welcome. Good morning from Austria. Thank you already so much for your generosity, for taking the time, for dedicating the upcoming hour where it's all about business transformation with SAP Signavio. I'm more than thrilled, and I really appreciate to have this platform, to have this audience like you, and that we can exchange also after this one. In the end, we dedicate our own Q&A session, and I propose I share my screen so that you get a better understanding about what I'm talking about. I hope that you can see it. Otherwise, please just engage Alexi, but I hope it's presenting. Yeah, before we start, just for you a short information regarding our SAP Signavio practice here at Westernacher. I don't want to dive deep, just some seconds on it that you know, okay, we are actually pioneering this practice since literally day one. As you might know, SAP acquired Signavio last year, and since last year we jumped on this train because we believe in Signavio solutions, and we believe even more in the powerful connection it has now in terms of integration into the SAP environment. There are new principles, as you might know, rise with SAP, or if you think of S/4HANA migrations, SAP Signavio solutions can support end-to-end. That's why we positioned ourselves around those services. We are currently having clients from various industries, and yeah, end-to-end from discovery to real customer excellence for several lines of business. So not only finance, manufacturing, but also logistics and everything that has actually to do with the so-called intelligent enterprise of tomorrow. And yeah, that's it from a general overview. So what are you expecting today? I try to keep it as engaging and as simple as possible. I understand you are always with corporate slides, with a lot of content. I want to make it as easily digestible as possible, because SAP Signavio solutions can become complex pretty quickly, because the solutions themselves, they are so powerful that when you dive deep, it's a never-ending story, but on a beautiful way. And that's actually a nice opportunity for you as a company to just get an introduction, to really know, first of all, why do we need SAP Signavio solutions? So what are the business challenges of today? Why is there such a urge and need for SAP Signavio solutions? Second, what is the transformation suite actually about? What are those SAP Signavio solutions? And in the end, I will showcase you how to get started right away with SAP Signavio. And saying this, I will also give you a short demo so that you can see firsthand the impact it can make on your business. All right, so let's start with the why. If you think back 2 years ago, 2020, we had the pandemic, a virus hit the world, we had lockdowns, we had disruptions in our supply chain, we had suddenly so many challenges to face. Only the last 2 years only. Recently, we have just geopolitical conflicts additionally, and of course, there's always globalization and always complex infrastructures, complex supply chain. But the markets, they are now even more volatile, and inflation is a key term as well. So there are so many different elements companies today are struggling actually with. It's not only about agility and transformation anymore, because agility and transformation, those are both literally a given. Without them, you won't survive. And we realize that firsthand speaking to our clients. Now it's more about, on the one hand, guaranteeing the operational excellence, and on the other hand, guaranteeing customer excellence, because consumer behaviors are ever changing. If we have a look on the car industry, for instance, at least here in Austria, in Central Europe, a long time Tesla had a hard game challenging themselves, improve themselves against the German car manufacturer. Convince everyone that electronic motors are the future. Now it shifted, and indeed they proved themselves, and now the trend is there, electronic only, more or less. And if you order certain cars, you might need to wait 1, 2, up to 3 years until you get your car. Why? Because sensors are missing. So a complete supply chain disruption that was maybe underestimated years ago. But this is just an example. This is just the very tip of the iceberg, just to give you an illustrative understanding about the challenges. And this is not only for automotive, this is literally for every industry. Consumer behaviors are changing, supply chains are changing, regulations are changing. Even if you think of the pandemic, how often did the government change? Literally every 2, 3, 4 weeks, we had to adapt. So talking it in the context of process management and business transformation, what does it mean? As you see here, the sunlight. Actually, those whole challenges can be overwhelming. They can make you feel even anxious as a business leader. But taking them and transforming them into opportunities the better way. It's a more sustainable and healthy way. Because all those challenges can be transformed and help your company gain, valuable competitive advantage to outperform your competition. And therefore, SAP Signavio solutions are so powerful because they not only emphasize on agility and transformation, operational and process excellence, but also the customer excellence. So you have end-to-end coverage to deal with those challenges. Let me give you a better example. When we talk about the what are the key elements for successful business transformation? So if we have a look on the biggest literature, we will find some key elements. Some of them will be processes. Of course, we need business processes. We will need the data. We all know data is the new gold in today's fast-moving and digital world. And then we have systems, so IT systems, ERP systems. So you might run SAP system, ECC system, S4 system, you name it. But the core of your business transformation and the core of your actual operations is the element of people. Ultimately, humans are obviously operating the business. So even if we're talking about automation and improvement potentials, with the most fancy technologies, machine learning, IRPA, and so on, people are in the end at the core of your business transformation. So this is maybe a no-brainer, but I love to bring it just to remind that it's not only about technology, it's not only about processes, it's about people. And SAP Signavio solutions, they are all around people. I will show you in a minute why. First, let's have a look on the transformation suite of SAP Signavio solutions. On the top right, you see a nice watch, an analog watch. You can say, yeah, it's nice, it's timeless, nice design. But let's assume that's traditional process management. Let's assume that's traditional process modeling. We have a lot of clients, at least from discussions that evolved with my own engagements with clients. Clients, they modeled their business processes, because they had to, smaller companies that grew and now they are stock notated, now they have this audit trail, now they have this requirement of having modeled processes. Second, they had a motivated process manager internally that drove the topic. And in both cases, if there is not a holistic approach to process management, to process transformation, in both cases, The processes were modeled, indeed, because they had to, obviously. It was a task that had to be ticked off the list. It was a project. It went live. Everyone breathe in, breathe out. Everyone was released. Oh, we have our order to cash process modeled. In which form ever possible. In Excel, in Draw.io, in PowerPoint, in Aris, Visio, you name it, in any, and then silos emerged. Finance did it this way, sales did it this way, but as we know, for an order to cash process, for instance, there are connection points, especially in the SAP, worlds, because we have some ST involved, we have some finance involved. There need to be a smooth integration of both. So, and if one department is literally modeling it in Excel and the other one in Draw.io, there are some silos. And even if it's modeled, then they're archived somewhere in a nice folder or printed out, so put it somewhere in a cupboard, and no one touches it anymore. And often, that's a real life example as well. When we ask for process models, they're often 10 years old. So yeah, 10 years ago, we did this initiative. Long story short, we all know the smartwatch today, right? It's not only about time. Now we have insights. We know about our heartbeat, about how much we sleep, about calories burned. We can make calls, literally, we can do so many things. And that's exactly where so much potential gets lost in terms of processes. Processes are made to be alive, literally, and not only draw them because it looks nice, it's so nice to connect. But there are so many insights to be taken into account. There are customer experience to be taken into account. It's about sharing it and constantly evolving it across the whole company. If you are a big company with many subsidiaries, for instance, and the subsidiaries, they are also geographically dispersed, you might realize, okay, one country is performing very well, the other one is performing a little bit poorer. What can the poorer performing country learn from the better one? We have so much in-house. We always try to externalize and show somewhere else and seek advice somewhere else. That's why we are here, by the way, Westernacher, to also open the eyes of the customer, take the customer by the hand and say, you are a multinational company, you have so much expertise in-house. We literally help them to find back their own expertise. Of course, bringing our own point of view. We have process experts that literally deal with process initiatives since more than 2 or 3 decades, really passionate about their missions. But to tell you that it maybe firsthand, there's so much knowledge inside the company. So it's also about connecting those dots within the company, and there is where SAP Signavio solution actually put the people and the human aspect in the middle. It's about harmonizing literally, as we saw before, the processes, the data in the system, and put the human aspect in the center of any process and business transformation initiative. So now jumping from this smartwatch to process management. So close your eyes, think of a traditional process model. You see, okay, A, B, C, some X, OR. Now you see the smartwatch version of it. For instance, here we will have it later on a little bit deeper in a demo. You see order to cash, right, with several sub-process steps. For each step, you see industry benchmarks. On the right, you see KPIs, if each step is performing well or not. This is live data coming from your live productive SAP system. It's mapped to industry best practices. It's mapped to any industry you are in. This is an example from the consumer product industry. And then you also have intelligence behind. As for the smartwatch, now you have the most important KPIs that are most relevant for you, depending on your role. If you're CFO, COO, or a line of business manager, you can actually configure your own dashboard and you have the most KPIs you are responsible for at a glance. And welcome to the transformation suite. We will have a short, simple example for each of them. But if I have a look, just starting with process insights and process intelligence, here on the left in gray, those are solutions for process analysis and mining. So if you want to analyze your process steps, if you want to identify bottlenecks, pain points, if you want to simulate cases, then Process Insights is the tool for you. Process Intelligence even goes further because it has these strong, powerful mining capabilities. What you can, take in order to map them to certain metrics. There's a huge pre-configured library of metrics for literally any end-to-end process, be it order to cash, lead to cash, procure to pay, and so on. You have a pre-configured KPI dashboard available to you. And what makes it fun is those two solutions here, they make your process alive. They transform your analog watch to a smartwatch. And now, at least it's the case for us, experience builders for us, people in the company start loving processes again. And there's a general trend we perceive, at least, that more and more companies, they have a look that the people they are in, they are fully aligned with the processes. Processes are like the bones of us human beings. It's just the base, it's a no-brainer, right? But now it's about training those muscles and to get the most out of it, and not only archiving it somewhere and say, yeah, doesn't matter. Because in those analyses, you will maybe differentiate between your commodity processes, which are fine because you might have 80, maybe 90% commodity processes. They can be automated later on and really be lean according to standard. And then you have maybe 10, 20% of your USP processes, your processes that differentiate you from the rest, that make you special. You can really focus on this one and really, like a lemon, squeeze everything out of those processes, constantly evolve. And again, coming back to the example regarding the subsidiaries, you might have a subsidiary from another subsidiary, and as they're working together, they bring, it's like open innovation, it's like crowdsourcing within your own company, so that your businesses, your business performance processes can constantly evolve and be reimagined. Because that's indeed the challenge to tackle, actually, right? If we have a look on the modern challenges from before, there's actually own term, VUCA, volatility, uncertainty, complexity, ambiguity. So all those challenges, they need to be tackled. And because I mentioned simulation, how many cases of planned scenarios work in real life? Maybe not so many, because the future is indeed unpredictable. And we have some cases where the customer spent 1 month in Excel sheets planning a certain scenario. And then there's this discussion, and then decision makers decide, yeah, okay, let's change some parameters. Yeah, and then it's again massive manual workaround workload. So now the possibility only to simulate several scenarios is so powerful. It's really bringing you an extra advantage. So in the middle, we see tools for process and journey modeling. So we have the process manager and the journey modeler. Process manager is a traditional comparable to a traditional process modeling tool using PPMN 2.0 standard modeling language. You can literally model your business processes the way you are used to. You know, you have EPC, you have everything. And that's really about modeling the inside out perspective, right? Your order to cash, different levels, level 1 to 3, procure to pay, and so on. And then you have the journey modeler. And this is really cutting edge, next level, because now it's not only about the inside out perspective, now it's also about the outside in perspective. So it's not about the inside out, it's also about the outside in. Meaning, as we are putting the human aspect into the core, and as the environment is so fast moving and complex, now it's also important to consider the experience of your customer, of your own employees, of your supplier, and so on. Because there's also a shift regarding supplier. We might take supplier always for granted. Yeah, the suppliers, we pay them money, but as you know, best case are the raw materials. There's such a surge here in wood price, steel price. Any raw materials is surging pricing, and now the supplier has even a more powerful position, you know, and therefore it's even, you know, maybe important more than ever to also focus on real supplier relationships. Same for employees, the talents, the good ones. They can literally, you know, work anywhere. We work from home, and so on. There's so many facets that changed. So it's not only about modeling those processes and tick them off. No, now it's also about considering sentiment across the whole process chain from an outside-in perspective. On the right, you see tools for process governance and process automation. It says it already. So it's all about automation execution of repetitive, highly manual steps. And it's also about workflow management. So if you have certain workflows, and this can be really interesting if, for example, HR, you have an onboarding process, which is more or less always the same. You can really define workflows. You can really automate certain steps as much as possible. Around this circle, you might find some elements that seem familiar to you. Analyze, design, simulate, improve, rollout, monitor. Those are the SAP Activate, the SAP Activate project phases. So even if you are considering the transformation suite not only for, you know, boosting your operational and customer excellence as a process performance initiative point of view, but if you consider a migration to S/4HANA, for instance, or using RISE with SAP towards your S/4 journey, this whole transformation suite covers each single SAP Activate step, meaning it supports your not only project management, but also the overall success. Because talking about S4 or RISE, it's not only an IT topic, it's a business topic. It's literally a business transformation topic, because we don't just plug and play a new software solution. Now it's about reimagining your own processes. It's an opportunity for you to become better, right? And in this case, we are actually talking business transformation. That's actually our our motto of today's session. And it helps you to identify the real capabilities of your future IT system. I brought this example regarding the smartwatch. Now, regarding S/4HANA, for instance, I love bringing the phone example. Back in the days when I was very young, we had those old, you know, classical Nokias and Sony and Ericsson, just, you know, you could just call and text, and that was largely sufficient. That's comparable with the ECC system. But today we have a smartphone. We can do so much more. We can, you know, go on the internet, FaceTime, we can do online shopping, we can do so many things. And what happens now with many S4 migrations, what at least ourselves we experience is people, you know, that's human nature. We love to stay sometimes in our comfort zone and maybe use just the same functionalities as we were used to. Meaning, even if we have the S4HANA system in place, we still want to call, we still want to text. Literally, we don't want to go on the internet and so on. First of all, either we don't want or we don't have the actual know-how that's even possible, because so many partners out there, and that's not our mission at all, is to sign a contract. Okay, we deliver, we install, we have to go live, have fun, literally. We want to make sure that the client, or you know, any customer operating with us, gets the most out of the system. So we will take the client by the hand, show him literally a smartphone, how it's working. Same is now for S4HANA system, for instance. And in this context, long story short, SAP Signavio help you to unleash the full potential of your S4HANA system. I'll show you a short demo that was the end, so in just some minutes, so you have a better understanding about what I'm talking about. So let's just quickly give you some screenshots so you have an idea how it looks like. So here we have a solution for process insight. That's actually a process discovery, what we will see in a minute. You already saw it in small, but now here a little bit bigger. So you have, you know, that's just an example. The solution itself is much more powerful, but that you just get a hint. You have now sub-processes with each step, and we have KPIs regarding the performance. It shows you, okay, where you are performing well, where are opportunities for improvement, and how you can improve. It takes you to, you know, SAP KPI catalogs, to industry solution portfolios, shows you improvement recommendations, automation potentials, and so on. All that's possible with process insights. Process intelligence, as the word itself says, it already makes your process intelligent. So on the one hand, you have process mining features to really, you know, dive deep and squeeze out literally everything of your process, single step, in a much more granular way. But at the same time, it allows you to create nice dashboards with the KPIs that matter most to you. And then regarding process manager and journey modeler, here you see the process manager, traditional, you know, process modeling tool with BPMN 2.0. Here you see a screenshot of a simulation we were running. So you see a to-be scenario. It's also a nice way to quickly identify bottlenecks. You can also make cost analysis and resource analysis, and it's really an intuitive tool. Talking about the journey modeler, this is an example how you can link the outsides in perspective to a existing business process. You see here certain steps for a lead to order, order to invoice, and invoice to cash process. And for each step, you see now the sentiment. And you might know of Qualtrics. We can respect this data, or we can have certain interfaces. For instance, if you are shopping online, we know that in the end, sometimes you can put a smiley or rate at least the process, how much you liked it. So this data can also influx. So we have a real nice overview about the happiness level of the customer. So, but not only customer, we can also, for internal processes, respect employee sentiments, and for supplier-related processes, we can also respect supplier experience. So, and then talking about process automation and governance, here you see nice workflow initiatives coming from process governance. It's a nice intuitive tool as well. By the way, like any of the others, they are fully web-based, so you can access them from anywhere. There are cloud solutions, and in this case, it's a so-called low-code, no-code solution, meaning it helps you build nice workflows and automation potentials using drag and drop functionalities. You don't need to be a pro in ABAP or any other coding language. You can simply drag and drop and customize your own solution. And the last one is process automation, where you can really take your commodity process and make it automated according to your own parameters. All right, and then we have lastly the collaboration hub. And if you have a look here on the illustration, you might see this might remind you on a door where you can put the key in, right? So, and this is also the idea behind the collaboration hub. People are the key to success. And that's why we have this illustration here, because you put the key here and the key is collaboration hub. Collaboration hub itself is literally a social network for processes. Again, our example from the subsidiaries, there's so much knowledge inside of the company. Now we have a central platform where everyone of the company can, first of all, have a look on your latest process model, see certain steps if they are green or not, because all those steps, they can be linked to the business process intelligence, for instance, process intelligence. So you have the latest widgets and KPIs visible. Maybe on the second screen you see it even better. Here we configure the company at the page. So you have the most important information that's most important for you, for your role. You have it at a glance in one page. You don't need to, you know, have those time-consuming meetings anymore, where everyone needs to find the information through Excel sheets and SAP exports and so on. You have it all in one place all together. And remembering back the modern challenges, where it's all about, you know, timing and customer excellence. This helps you just to again breathe and focus on the most important that matter, you know, steps that matter the most to you. How much time is wasted every day in unnecessary things, for alignment, for things that is already in-house, and that maybe summarizes very well. SAP Signavio solutions help you to make the knowledge that is inside your company alive again, literally, because there is so much know-how inside your company already. And if it's not in your office in Finland, it might be somewhere in Europe or in America or somewhere in Asia, or no matter where on the planet, it's there inside your company. And this helps you now to collaboratively innovate your processes. This is actually, if you're familiar to terms like open innovation, crowdsourcing, your employees, your humans in your company is the crowd. And now you bring the best together from finance, sales, you know, cross practice, cross border, with the ultimate goal to make your processes better. So we have 20 minutes left. I would propose to give you a short demo, and that we have 10 minutes in the end for Q&A. I hope that works for you. So this also covers the last step of our agenda, more or less, how to get started with SAP Signavio. So the first step is SAP Process Discovery. This is a tool, a very intuitive tool provided by SAP for free. This is free of charge. And then it helps you to really understand where you are right now and where you have to go, based on improvement recommendations and so on. It helps you on the way, on your path from ECC to S/4HANA. It helps you on your path from an older S4 release to a newer release. It helps you to unleash the full potential of your business processes, to get your full horsepower on the street, to use your smartwatch, your iPhone to the best capabilities possible. That's the actual intention of this one, because often decision makers, they are like stuck, you know, and it's also where us Westernacher, we understand our clients. There are so many things, again, happening over the last 2 years only. Decision makers, they are like thinking, whoa, pandemic, it just passed. Okay, there's a war going on. There's a shortage in raw materials. There's a disruption in supply chain. There are so many things. So what is now SAP Signavio? It's again something. Yes, it's again something, but it's something powerful that helps you on this journey. If you think of the sunlight from before, it's to see the opportunity of the challenges you are in. And it's a strategic initiative, of course. It helps you in the long run to outperform competition and to gain marketplace. If we have just a look on how much market share shifted in certain industries for certain key players, it can be scary at the one hand, but a beautiful opportunity, and that's why that's the cool thing, why I'm so passionate about it. I'm a youngster, I'm here 30 years old. I'm not into, you know, the business of the 80s, 90s. What I heard is, you know, there was, okay, it's set, it's go, it runs. But now literally every week, every day, literally it starts from new. We have to re-innovate, and there are new technology concepts, you know, Web 3.0 and so on. I can really extend here, but it's not objective of the webinar. I better give you a demo for process discovery. Let's get this on. Right, here we go. So you see, you have it for several industries. In our demo scenario, we focus on the consumer products industry. And if I click here on reports, you see a nice overview what's going on in your company. So again, this is based on production data coming from your live SAP system, be the ECC or S/4HANA system. So, and then you can go through this report with 4 key people in your company, 4 key rows. First one is the IT expert, because it's a nice insight for him regarding ERP system usage. How much is standard, how much is custom, and so on. It's nice for the transformation driver who wants to automate as much as possible. It's important for various process owners. So if you have a process owner for order to cash, procure to pay, and so on. And it's of course a matter of very high importance for each line of business manager. For instance, if you are the line of business manager for finance, click on finance. Here already at a glance, you see what's working well and where are opportunities to improve. As this is a free version, you only have a selection of value drivers. For instance, you want to reduce days sales outstanding, and you see already measures. But we scroll further down and we see here already processes with automation potential. If I turn this on, I see benchmark comparison. It says, okay, our result in our case is 4 times higher than industry standard or industry average. Okay, let's have a deeper look. Okay, for financial close, I see here, I see the transaction. They are familiar to a finance responsible. Okay, FA GLP03 is the transaction. Industry standard is 6% manual. For us, it's almost 5 times the value. For all the others, it's maybe double. So, and this gives you a nice indication. Okay, there is way, you know, there's room for improvement. There are possible ways to automate this transaction using S4 capabilities. We don't need our people to focus on this one. Our people then can focus on our differentiating processes. If you are unsure about your process performance, you can take your current process model, and you can compare it here with a standard process for financial close. You might remember this 3-digit shortage. This relates to the best practice content provided by SAP, which makes it really interesting. But scroll down, we have several recommendations: machine learning, IRPA, Fiori, and so on, Ariba. And here, S/4HANA. I click on, let's say, accounts receivables. It takes you straight to the SAP Industry Solution portfolio, meaning you get best practice content based on your value drivers you want to improve. You can improve customer experience using Fiori apps, and it takes you to the best practice explorer. There's so much content, it literally never gets boring. Like on your smartphone, right? It's never ending. You have so many possibilities. You're happy you figured out how to go on the internet and how to, I don't know, have a look on the weather. Okay, now you can, I don't know, buy stocks with your phone. And then you did it. And then, oh, you can do online shopping. Same is now for S/4HANA. And the best possible scenario is to create passionate teams in your company. Again, it's a people topic. It's about energizing your people to make the best out of the technology, because in so many cases we are finger pointing. Oh, the technology shall fix it, data shall fix it, processes shall fix it. Those are all tools, right? If we go to the gym, we have nice, equipment, but in the end we need to work out our own self. And that's a similar approach to those business transformation topics with SAP Signavio. I lose myself. I'd rather go back and give you another example for a line of for process owner for order to cash, for instance. Here you see it firsthand. We have nice drill down of standard process steps. We go here, for instance, invoice creation. We see it red here. Says invoice not posted to accounting. What's wrong here? Okay, you see here, okay, Italy might be okay, or we take another example, sales order overdue, okay, Oceania, we have a problem, or that's just an inspiration for you to dive deeper. It gives you an orientation. You have possible causes, potential business impact, you have your age distribution. You see, okay, many cases are between 1 and 3 years, so you can talk to the responsible persons. Maybe they know what's going on. You have an additional reference to the SAP KPI catalog that takes you straight to standard KPIs where you can dive deeper. Third, it's for the transformation driver. If you want to know, okay, what steps can be automated for each end-to-end process. In this case, this is a free version. It's 7 end-to-end processes, several lines of business, and the manual effort and the business user, how much they're in for the various sub-processes. And lastly, for the technology aspect, you see how much is standard, how much is custom, and that's cool. Here you have again a nice chart. It says, okay, we have a high user base using certain set transactions, for instance. You can filter it here, and if you migrate, for instance, from the older system to a newer one, you can really reassess if those custom solutions they are necessary, or if you can be even better using the new or the latest S4 capabilities. And if we talk about S4 Cloud, you might know that you have quarterly releases. You have so much capabilities there, and yeah, it's a nice opportunity. So this is process discovery. That's actually a first step to get started with SAP Signavio solutions, again for free. As at Westernacher, we offer for the information 2 weeks bundles, where we take the client literally by the hand, go through those reports, because again, in the end, you receive a report, but you need to know how to analyze the results, how to take action steps, where to dive deeper, and so on. It's there where we help. Just reach out to us. We are very happy. I have a feeling I lose my voice. Just for information, I've been sick. It's my first proof for my language for my voice, but two more things to cover, and we are there for Q&A. All right. Then once we have this free, version of, our process discovery, it's a one-time load. Now we see, okay, it generates value. We have the buy-in of certain stakeholders. We want to start with process insights, at least small base, scale it afterwards, and really dive deeper in our process analysis. And then later on, you can decide which of those SAP Signavio solutions fit best to your needs, right? If it's mining, or if it's modeling, automation, or all together. And for this, we help you also define your own business case, your own benefit case, because it's in the end about value generation and make your company's performance even better. All right, so that's it from my side. I hope you get a nice overview regarding SAP Signavio solutions. In any ways, please just reach out to me. I'm always happy to engage on these topics. We have very much rock and roll going on here in this area. There's a lot of, business going on. So I'm always happy to share some insights with you. Don't hesitate to reach out. And other than that, Aki and myself are very grateful that you took this time. And if you have any questions now, at least I think according to schedule, we have 5 more minutes. We're happy to answer any questions. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Johannes, for the presentations. Signavio really seems very comprehensive and multi-purpose tool. And it was really nice that you also gave us a demo of it. It's really nice. And like Johannes said, now it's good time for comments and questions. And let me see if there is some already. You can post them through the questions tab on your GoToWebinar. Yes, there are a couple of comments, or actually questions. What do the customers say on Signavio? Any feedback? So what has been the
as it is a new offering, actually under umbrella term business process intelligence from SAP, we took it as an opportunity for already existing clients. It's how we got started, to show them the capabilities of SAP Signavio, and started with a free trial, with a free offering. Again, we have those packages where we introduce the topics in 2 weeks, workshops and so on. And then we want to generate value by starting small. As it's a cloud-based solution, you can start with a small amount of users, 3 users, 5 users, 10 users, depending on your solution. And then it's our hard project is to see the people in the company being thrilled about the solution. It's not ourselves, we're not typical sales guy. Oh, take it, it's awesome. We want to experience, we want the client to experience it. And to come back regarding feedback is, it's literally outstanding in one direction. They're all thrilled about the opportunities you have, literally, and the value how it generates for the company in various industries. So we have this in the FMCG, fast moving consumer goods industry. We have it in manufacturing, banking industry. So then you have people, a small group of people in your company, of your customer, that's really dedicated and really loves to allocate time on these projects, because give a smartwatch to someone, they love playing around. The same is actually for this one. And people come up with scenarios they never thought of it. Again, bringing the old example, oh, they modeled the order to cash, archive this. Now they literally want to innovate it. And as they plugged it in with intelligent data, they want to see their KPIs in green. It's like when you have your smartwatch, you want all the circles filled. And the same is now for KPIs. You know, people are more committed also to the company's results. It's not only about year-end reporting or quarterly or month-end. It's now on a daily basis that you have insights, and everyone in the company is motivated by that's just an example, you know, by green KPIs. So everyone is making sure that it's going well. So general feedback here, very positive.
Okay, nice. Sounds good. There's also, like I mentioned, another comment. You already kind of covered it on the how part of your agenda, but there's a question on the timeline. What is the timeline to get started with Signavio?
Yeah. So the process discovery itself, it's a free tool. We at Westernacher, for instance, offer 2 weeks packages where we help analyze the reports. So 2 weeks to get, you know, the first results with clean expert recommendations on Plus. Process discovery itself is installed pretty quickly. You install 2 SAP nodes in your productive system. You send it to SAP. You receive the report by your own or via your partner. Within 5 business days, you're up and running. Second step would be then, depending on your, you know, ambitions. Process Insights, for instance, it's a nice plug-and-play solution. 24 hours from plugging it into the first results. And same for Process Manager, all the other tools, they are ready to go. As those are cloud-based solutions, they are off to go. And talking about Process Manager, for instance, you start with a blank overview, but you can import best practice processes pretty quickly. You can import your existing processes from other modeling tools, put it all together, so you can start right away. It's just a way where it's becoming more thoughtful. It's when we consider a tool like Process Intelligence, where we want to create nice custom investigations, because there is a script behind, of course, standard script, which can be modified. But depending where your data is coming from, if it's coming from SAP or a third-party system, right? Can be Snowflake, can be AWS, you name it. So there's an ETL to be established, and you know, and then also the investigation need to be thought of. But that's also manageable in a timely manner. To give you an orientation, we just had a POC with a client in the beverage industry. It took us 2 weeks, you know, to come up with a POC for order to cash in Process Intelligence.
Okay, thank you. We are running out of time, but there's still one question. But if somebody needs to leave now for the next sessions or meetings, I would like to thank for being with us. And but we will have this one question that just came in. So what is your experience on getting transactional data extracted from SAP into Signavio processes?
Yeah. First-hand example is, because I mentioned Process Intelligence, it works ultra smooth when we take data coming from an SAP system and we load it into PI. So if we connect the system to a ECC system or S4 system, it's literally awesome because it's smooth. Nevertheless, I experienced with one client, there was integration to do with data coming from Snowflake. Snowflake already took the data from SAP, and as we know, SAP stores each data element with a different data type. You know, the mandate, for instance, is CLNT, date is data form, and you know, and so on. Those are the central data types defined. So coming into Snowflake, Snowflake has its own data type. So you don't find CLNT anymore because this is a SAP data type. Now it's suddenly text. But now putting it back to PI, it's also text in PI. The thing is, if you now use standard scripts in PI, for instance, to generate your own investigations, you might run into some errors because you might realize, okay, certain data types are not valid simply because they violate SAP standard. So there are some workarounds to do, meaning you would need to adjust your SQL script where you just, okay, define and transform actually back into original SAP standard data type format. Other than that, it's smooth because the data pipeline, it's easy to set up. You enter the credentials of any of your third-party system, you know, with host, warehouse, database, and so on, and schema, and it connects in real time, and you can start extracting data right away. I hope that answers the question.
Thank you very much. There are no more comments or questions, so I would like to also thank. Actually, there is one more comment, and now as we are already some overtime, why not 1 minute? 1 minute more for a short answer. The question is: are you also able to build Signavio process flow based on SAP data flows automatically?
First of all, you can quickly model any process in Process Manager using the quick model function. The person who asked the question, please reach out. I'll show you the quick model feature where you can create a process model within a minute. It's a spreadsheet format, and you put it in, you have it nice. And then you can assign your data coming from SAP, for instance, from a table like PKPF, you know, when we have invoicing data and so on. And in the table like PKPF, you will find a column that says transaction. So you see which transaction is used with the timestamp. And this one, you can drag and drop and map it to each process step. So that's possible as well. And yeah, actually, that's a pretty cool feature.
Okay, thanks for answering. And once more, I would like to thank, and please also remind that reach out to Johannes and Aki if you have further questions. And also big thanks to everybody who was on the line today.